I started going down this rabbit hole, guys, where not only is it dead, but it's incredibly collectible. And the crossovers and the inspirations between Kult and modern day Sorcery Gothic, and also Sorcery play mechanics, are incredibly similar. Well, folks, I didn't expect this to take as long as it did. 6 months ago, I said, you know what? I'm going to do a quick video on Kult. It's an old vintage dead TCG that is pretty obscure. At the same point, it's still incredibly collectible today. So I'll do a video on it. And I seem to acquire these French language boxes, and I'm like, all right, we'll check out the art. It's all hand-painted art, and we'll go from there. But I started going down this rabbit hole, guys, where not only is it dead, but it's incredibly collectible. And the crossovers and the inspirations between Kult and modern day Sorcery Gothic, and also Sorcery play mechanics, are incredibly similar. And I bet any money, and we'll go through it here today, that Eric took inspiration from Kult for not only Gothic, but for Sorcery play. I'll show you some cards today that have the similar names, same names, as cards within Sorcery Contested Realm. We'll go through and you'll see there's really a very low chance that was not intentional. We're going to talk about the market. So first, I think what we'll do is we'll hit the market discussion. Second, after the market discussion, let's talk original art for the set. It's all hand-painted art. We'll talk about some of the artists and even where you can buy original art from these cards. There's still a few left at very reasonable prices. So and when I say reasonable, guys, a lot of you watching this video are familiar with Sorcery Contested Realm. You'll be shocked when you see the prices that we're talking about that you can pick up original art from, of legends, like legend painters. So, an artist. So, we'll hit the paintings. Next, after that, we'll get into my collection. After we get into my collection, maybe we'll get into deck building, and we'll talk about how that looks. After deck building, I'm actually going to take you guys through the rolls. We'll shuffle up my deck here, and I'm going to show you how it's played, because you cannot find a YouTube video on Kult CCG that does all of those things. So before we start, Kult, as an overview, this is based off of an old D&D style, or old D&D game, books and everything back in the early 90s, and offsprung the Kult CCG based on the D&D version. Obviously, as you know, at the time, magic was king, but the problem that Kult faced was the stigma surrounding this demonic, cultish, evil thing. And before we go any further, I will say viewer discretion is advised on this video. This is for mature audiences only. Some of the content and topics that we'll discuss today may be offensive, and they may contain very dark elements and things like that. So viewer discretion is advised. And parents back in those days didn't like their kids playing magic. Can you imagine a kid going up to their parents and saying, "Hey, there's an angel hanging here. Can I buy this, Mom?" Mom's going to be like, "No." So, as like most games in the 90s, before the internet, before the boom of TCGs, Kult and Kult Inferno vanished quickly. Inferno, and as many dead TCGs go, the expansion came out. There wasn't a ton of demand. It vanished. This Inferno, guys, is probably some of the last sealed Inferno in existence. I've observed, I know folks on my Discord have watched on Kult, and we'll talk about that at the end of the video, have watched this. I don't think there's been sealed Inferno listed on eBay in the past decade. All right. Now, the thing that you'll find about Kult is the values hold incredibly well. So French is a little more easy to come by, and booster packs of French go around $10 a pack. These things in French, the decks go for sealed somewhere around $40 or so in French. You start getting into English sealed booster boxes, they don't exist, but booster packs kind of go for that, $20 per pack price to $30 per pack price. funny how it says $2.95 on it, right? So we've got all these packs here, and Inferno, these could go $100 a pack or more. We're gonna crack one today. We're gonna bearish. I'm gonna have some opportunities for viewers to buy and own an Inferno pack. But yeah, the Inferno set, you'll start to see these are all singles from the Inferno set, and English singles, guys, English go for $2.50 plus per card, right? This is, all of these are $2.50 plus. Now, if you start getting into the base per card, same thing. You're looking at $2.50 plus per card. I mean, easy. Some of the cards go into the hundreds. Promos go, are almost $1,000. So it's a very collectible dead TCG. In the grand scheme of things, you have different tiers of dead TCGs. Some are worth virtually nothing. You have mid-tier. Mid-tier would be like Guardian CCG is that mid-tier range. And top tier are going to be Kult and Netrunner, for example. Kult is probably one of the most collectible games that you've never heard of. And a full set of Inferno, a full set of singles. There's one currently listed on the market for $1,600 plus a couple $100 shipping for a full set of 125 cards. There is no full set of English Kult base on the market currently today. So I'm really painting this picture for you guys on how collectible this game really is. And it is incredibly collectible. So let's hit some art discussion. Some of the greats, were working on Kult. One of them, Terry Oakes. So Terry Oakes is known for, I believe, the Messiah on the front, as well as a ton of art inside. And I did pick up two pieces of art. One I'm going to showcase in the video today. The other I'm not going to showcase, but this is Jason Lagrange and Jason Lacrosse and Cormias, Arizona. They're two different cards, and we'll go through those cards later. But this is an original painting. I picked this up for under, I want to say $300. And you can go out today on wow-art.com, and I'll put the link in the description. They've actually, for the purposes of the launch of this video, have said, hey, Steve, we're going to give a discount to everybody on the viewers, allow folks to kind of buy out some of these paintings. There's probably, I don't know, maybe a dozen paintings left out there, and they'll all be under $300 on sale. So if you ever have had the opportunity to or ever wanted to have the opportunity to own a real painting from a real historic CCG that's truly collectible, because there's no more of this can ever be printed, then now is your chance. Go out there, look at the description. I don't have any benefit to, I really just want to, make you guys aware of this opportunity. So beautiful painting. Terry Oakes did the art here, and Terry Oakes is known for a bunch of different, we'll say, fantasy art based in the UK. I tried to find a little bit of a bio on Terry, and I couldn't find something incredibly detailed, but he is a painter within battle cards. So if you remember battle cards, those scratch off battle cards that were early 90s, 93 or something to that tune, Terry Oakes did art for battle cards as well. So like I said, Terry Oakes considered, one of the greats. You have the opportunity to own a painting for one of the greats, especially if my sorcery folks out there, you're probably like, oh my God, I'm going to go buy them all. I'm like, I know, I was tempted myself. But just, check it out. And you'll see some of the paintings that are available, and you'll see them in the collections here and what we go through. So, next, let's actually hit up the collections, and we'll talk about that next. The collection, well, I should say, there's a lot of other artists in this. You're gonna love the art. It's like I said, the original Gothic set have no idea. I've spent a lot of time researching. I don't know where those paintings went. I've looked everywhere. You might be able to reach out to the artists and such. If you guys have any luck in doing that, or some of the artist's family, let me know. I'd love to acquire a different artist's art from the Kult set. You know, at this moment, I'm trying to put together a really, really nice collection of Kult. And if you do happen to, let me know. I did purchase this painting. It's called The Messiah, and I do have that one as well. I'm not showcasing that in the video today. That might be something special that I drop images on the Discord for patrons and stuff like that. So let's set these aside. We'll go through the box opening and pack opening here in a minute, but let's look at my collection. So I've put it into a binder, and what I use for my collection and my collection tracking, and let me get this right for you guys, is ccgtrader.net. You can find Kult CCG, and I just literally use the images there for my collecting purposes. Now, let's see if we can go through. Okay, at the beginning here, you have, these are considered rare. See if I can prop these up so you can see it a little better. These are kind of like your avatars, right? These are called your major arcanum. And these are like the demons, right? These are the ones that you are this character in the game. And you're trying to sway the population of the continent or the world to you. And you have different avatars that you can choose. Now, in my opinion, Kult was one of the first to have this commander style play prior to any other CCG out there. And like I said, there's a lot of firsts with this, but you'll really be reminded of some of the avatar concepts from Sorcery, commander concepts from MTG, with this whole major arcanum. Each one of these different gods, or we'll say entities, deities, has special, you know, information relative to what they'd offer. So Yesod, for example, the founder special, disregards station indicators when playing influence cards. So that's that ability. I built a Netzok deck, and it's based around, I imagine it's like a battling kind of a deck where he promotes war, tests strength of all kinds, special perform an extra attack with one of your beings that did not attack this turn. Now, in the game, we'll get into all the roles. You can only attack with one entity per turn. You have to make it right. So Netzok gets you an extra attack. Now, let's get into some of the cards. We have creatures, we have Razides, we have lictors, we have pawns, and we have creatures. All right. Pawns are essentially humans that are being used by these entities. And you have lictides and Razides, which are like, you know, they're servants. And then you have creatures, which are kind of like chaotic. So interestingly enough, you see Avenging Angel. And as we look through some of these, I'll have the sorcery card up on the screen of Avenging Angel. The Avenging Angel may immediately attack any being that attacks a being in the Angel's Mystic Cross. The second, and all of these things, I'll explain the gameplay later, that it will all make sense. The second attack takes place after the first is completed. So again, I'm missing some. It's very, very, very hard, even if I have the cash ready to go, to find these cards to fill out the sets. Right, so this is all base set. I'm trying to see. We've got Executioner. There's a bunch in here from similar to Sorcery. Lictor, New Age, Musician. Let's see if we can find. There's some more in Inferno. Priest, Prostitute, Razide. That's just a plain Razide. We've got Teacher, Student, Soldier, Secret Agent, Ushers, Veteran. This also has regions, so it has similar to sites of Sorcery, and we'll get into all of that as well. Karma, we've got, these are considered commandments. The other color was creatures and minions. Blue is commandments. Malice, misled is kind of interesting. Similar, led astray reminds me a little bit. Sell your soul, power failure. Trying to find some of these others. Torn asunder, telekinesis. Aha. So telekinesis. This reminds me of the sorcery, actually. Play at any time. Move an item from any being to another being in play. The item and its effects are attached to the new owner. Very similar to the sorcery card, to be honest. Let's see here. We've got purple, which are influence. Purple means influence. And that's where we're at now. I'm trying to see if we have anything else. Now we get into sites. Purgatory, interestingly enough, like I said, we'll get into more and more sorcery. Purgatory from the Gothic set, right? There's a lot in here too that I don't have that are also very similar to sorcery. And then green are spells. Spells must be cast by a spellcaster. Sound familiar? And the spellcaster is a unit or a minion marked as spellcaster. We've got the cross under the sky, vortex. Okay, now we're going to get into Inferno. And I actually have a lot of the Inferno cards, guys. We've got, I love the art. This is a Terry Oaks art, Alcatil. Love that art so much. Ashghoul. Ashghoul is available for sale, guys. It is out there, available for sale. Ashghoul is a rare. We'll get into rarity and all of that too. Blaspheme, Cataclysm, Kane. Trying to see anything else. There's the Cormias, Arizona. If you guys remember, that is the pyramid of the painting here. So the one painting was split into two. Daemon Blackraven is another avatar. There's only 2 avatars in the Inferno set. You know, something like this in English goes for around $50 just for that plain card. So that's what I'm talking about. High stakes. We got Fetish, Freak Show. We got Marcus Abernathy. Marcus Abernathy is the only other one in Inferno. You got Malachi, which reminds me of sorcery. Jason Lacrosse, that's part of the painting that I purchased. Let's see here. Metamorph. We've got Metamorph, similar to sorcery. I think there's Imposter in here somewhere. How did I miss that? Oh, yeah. Imposter. Guys, what are the chances that Imposter is in this set and in the Sorcery Gothic set? The chances don't seem high. There's Messiah. That's that art I was telling you guys that I just picked up. We've got Mask, Matador, Kiss of Death, so forth. Trying to see. Religious Path is really interesting from a play perspective. We'll get into that in a little bit. Shredded, Oedipus Complex, the Fool, Isle of Dogs. Okay, we get into some of the sites in here. I'm missing some of the sites, the regions. The Fool was kind of like a copycat. And then we've got a few here at the end, and that is the French promo card that I did end up picking up. So that's kind of what my collection looks like. It's actually, honestly, pretty impressive, if I don't say so myself. It's taken months, guys, to put this together for you all. Again, here's all my loose singles for Inferno, and I've got all of my loose singles here for the base set, all English, that I can use for my decks. So we talked a little bit about the art. All of it's hand painted, like I was saying. Where to buy some pieces if you're interested. Talked about the rarity of the set, the different languages. Oh, I should say too, there is an Italian language set. Seems to be more rare than English. I have 2 packs in transit to me. They're the only 2 packs I've ever found listed. So I do have those in transit. I don't have them to show you. They are black. So the packs are black. I do want to get into an opening here. I have not opened a single pack of Kult for myself, and I've been seeing this one with a small tear, and I want to open this one with you all and just experience a pack. We don't need to open a ton, because again, this is incredibly rare. I'd rather try to work towards getting the loose singles that are out there. But in terms of creating a game that is, creating a YouTube video that is truly encompassing of the entire game, the pack opening experience for both the base and the expansion is an important part of this. So I do want to crack a pack. We'll see if I pull anything interesting. We'll get in and we'll crack an Inferno pack, and then we'll hit up the deck building, and I'll show you guys a deck building tool that exists out there. So this kind of is a crazy moment for me, because guys, I'm not kidding you. This has been 6 months. I've been at this for 6 months. I don't know, maybe these aren't even legit. Maybe they're just like repacked too. Voice of Pain. Oh. Yes, you know what this is, guys. Oh yeah, we need that. Tippereth, the spider in the web. Under the dermis, she had coordinated the Archon's work. Special, all your beings in play are considered spellcasters. Man, so we actually did need this one too. And these are considered rare. So these cards are rare. Voice of Pain. Okay, Plain Clothes, Misled. Okay, Priest, we have Priest. Pawn of Passion. Razed. I think we might need Voice of Pain. I don't remember. We have Razed. Student. City of the Dead provides control over one death, and we'll get into some of that as well. We might need this one. Company Careerist. All right. Kingpin. I don't know that we have this one either. Fly in the Ointment. Oh, and let's check out the art too. So this is Nils, Living City. All right. Stefan Thernberg. We've got, okay, what is this? This provides, oh man. This provides 1 over time and space is what this is considered. Oh, we don't have this one either. Takeo Oshima. Who did this? Jamie Sims. Okay, did the art here. Tonor. Stefan. USS Reliant. All right, I actually needed another one of these for my deck. So this is pretty awesome. Student, let's see if we can, Thernberg, Priestess Thernberg, Sims, Thernberg. Let's see if we can find a Terry Oaks in here. Terry Oaks did a lot in the Inferno set. Thernberg. Terry Oaks! Voice of Pain. I don't believe this one's one of the ones that's for sale, but you can go check it out. Again, I think I'm missing the Voice of Pain. So, again, we'll go through it real quick. Anyone that missed it, we've got like our major arcanum, kind of like our avatar in Sorcery. Living City is a region. This is a commandment. We've got creatures, minions type things. More commandment, and this was heavy creature focused with a couple regions. USS Reliant being a religion. Provides control over an additional, we'll say this one is the roses, so it means passion. And then we've got this one is death. Netzach may play this card on any station, right? So Netzach is my commander, and I can play this on any station. And all of these arrows and things mean something from a play perspective, and we'll get into that. So, you know what? I'll put these right here. That was amazing, actually. We got some cards we needed, and I thought about them like, oh, you know what? I'll sell some singles. Oh, I don't need these. I'll sell some singles because we got some extra. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I actually want to deck build this. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this is why people love this. Hand painted original art. The gameplay is incredible. And that's why people love this set. That's why people love it. So let's try to find one that looks a little bit grungy here. I want to pop in. I mean, again, these things could be worth, I don't know, maybe we'll just go with this one. These packs could be are literally worth maybe $100 a pack. Like, you guys, if somebody knows Kult, I'm sure some folks out there are going to tune into this video in the future that are like, oh my god, he ripped an Inferno pack. Holy god, parental advisory, explicit contents. Like, what parent back in the 90s was getting their kid this with this guy like hanging upside down like this, right? It wasn't a thing. Distributed by USA, in the UK by Gamecraft, Target Games, Stockholm, Sweden. Note, you should have access to Kult basic rules to play. Copyright 1997. What was the copyright on this one? 1995. So 2 years later, came out. This is a big deal for me, guys. I've gotten really big into Kult. I secretly, I haven't told any of you guys. Well, maybe a couple of you. I may have mentioned some of it, but I know how to play. I know I know how to deck build. I'm constantly scouring the internet for Kult products, and this is a big moment for me cracking an Inferno pack. So again, topic of why we said viewer discretion advised at the beginning. This is something I have. Orphanage, I don't want to say because the YouTube video will get, you know, shut off. Orphanage, we might need the orphanage. Primal C, Terry Oaks. This one is available for sale on WoW Art. So you love this art, the Primal C, the region, it is available for sale. The original art. So, mask, we've got Harvey Parker. Don't know if we have that or not. Slaughterhouse 5. Again, viewer discretion advised. Like I was saying. Terry Oaks. I don't believe this was one that was for sale, but I do believe it's one we need. Gunner? Oh, Les Edwards. Les Edwards. I have some original Les Edwards art over here. Sandburn Prison. This is available for sale as well. Less than $300. So again, check it out. Wrapped Around My Finger, Harvey Parker. I don't think I need prison. Oh, here's our rare. I think this is our rares. Blood is Thicker. No, that's not a rare. Oedipus Complex. Okay. Cain. Carcass. Aborted. Oh, let's go through it. Terry Oaks. Yeah, Blood is Thicker. I think that one was for sale. I'm not quite sure. It might be sold. Oedipus. Cain. Another Terry Oaks. Carcass. Another Terry Oaks. I said Terry Oaks was big in this one. Aborted, Les Edwards. Exorcism, Les Edwards. Fetish. I should say too, WoW Art, they've got a lot of curated arts from different places. So if you go out there and you're looking to buy, really, they're not really, you know, into exclusive TCGs, just a lot of like art. And, you know, I know a lot of you guys appreciate art and such. So, you know, go out there, enjoy it. But don't go there expecting they wholly support TCGs and CCGs. It's just not the case. So this was pretty fun. You know, definitely good booster packs. If, you know, someone is interested, let me know. You know, I might bearish up. I've got some bearish cases here. Might at the end of the video bearish up some cases for you guys. So you can just shoot me a message if you want one. I don't even know what to charge for them, to be honest, like I said, because they're just so incredibly rare. So let's get into some of the deck building and gameplay. Right now, I do have a 60 card deck. We're going to shuffle up and we're going to play. I'm going to show you guys certain win conditions. First, let me see if I can show you guys this. There is a site out there called Card Game Geek, and it's pretty neat. We're just going to kind of blow this up a little bit so you guys can see. If you click on cards, you know, you can actually see all the cards in Kult and what they do, but more importantly, if you're familiar with like Curiosa and deck building with Sorcery, you can actually look and deck build here. Pawn Inferno, for example. Let's look at this one. You can deck build here, and it shows you, I don't know why there's so many like zeros and stuff over that. That doesn't really make any sense to me. Why can't I hit the back arrow either? Anyhow, you guys get my point. This is a bad example. There's not a ton of zeros in the other decks. Nocturne. So anyhow, I wanted to show you guys that and have the option for deck building, even if you don't have some of the cards, or if you're playing with French cards and you want to know the English words. So this game and the gameplay, as we shuffle here, is based around the tarot card reading style of the Celtic Cross. Don't know what that means. If you know what that means, feel free, comment below. Teach us about that. I don't know anything about tarot. I don't know anything about those types of things, but I do know this is called the Mystic Cross. So you start with your major arcanum, and there are different symbols around the corners here. All right, so the symbols, and this is where we get into the similarities of sorcery and maybe some of the inspirations. There's 5 different types of symbols. Now, these are your resources. but they work like threshold elements in Sorcery, where once you have one, you don't have to tap it. It's just perpetually that's what you have. So you've got 5 different kinds. Some cards like commandments don't require any, and some cards will only require 1. So as long as you have 1, you're good to go. Your guy, or girl, the major arcanum will all have different ones, and you can build your deck around that. So there are 5 kinds. You have skulls, which are death. Roses, which we don't have here, which are passion, symbolizing desire, emotion, control, manipulation. Death is around combat, killing, sacrifice, destruction. Hourglass is around movement, timing, reality bending, and positioning. The eyes are for madness, where it's knowledge, insanity, disruption, and mind control. And crescents are related to dreams, which are illusions, nightmares, prophecies, and surreal effects. So the way this works, you start the game, you place 1 card face down. You don't look at it. I don't know why I looked at it. Why did I look at it? I don't know why I did that. You place 1 card face down here underneath your major arcanum. Now, when you do that, originally back in the day, that was the prize card that you'd give away should you lose, or you'd gain should you win. But in reality, you still do that to this day because it is a random disabler. Right? So you don't know if that 1 card that you had in your deck, you will never see because it's under here. So it's this randomized way of kind of removing a chance at something. So you draw 7 cards. Okay, we got 7. And now you got this. And we got our hand. We have a bunch of commandments. We've got a bunch of, we've got a regions here. We've got people and all different kinds of things. Now, here we go. So you got your hub. There's really 4 regions or zones. You got your hub, which is this. This is your hub. You've got your stage, which is your cross, which goes around the circle like this. You can place cards around the circle, around your hub. And this is called your stage. It symbolizes the world, north, south, west, and east here. You'll have your cast over here. You'll have 4 on the side. 4 cards can go on the side in what's called your cast or your staff on the side. And lastly, you have the human population. Human population. Where's some here, there. These are. You have your humans. These are the population. All right, and this is what you're trying to win. To win the game, you have at the beginning of the game, if it's a continent based, 5 population per player. If it's the world, you start the game with 10 population per player. So we've got our homies here. These are our homies. We've got 5, 6. Okay, we've got our homies. We've got 8 there. And what are we doing here? There we go. 8. And so, at the beginning of the game, each player starts with 2 population on their hub already. So that leaves us left with, what do we got over here? 6. 6 left to go, because the other player has 2, and we've got 2. The goal is to get the majority of the population onto your hub. That's the main part of the game. So in order to do that, we've got to take 4 of these populations, and we've got to get them onto our hub. And the first one to do that wins the game. This symbolizes influencing the world, and you are a deity who has captured the world, and all of the people are now following you. So you have different things on the cards here, and we're going to show this for a second. All of these arrows imply where you're allowed to play it. If it is like this, you can play it anywhere in your stage, north, south, west, east. If You see how these aren't lit up? This is your cast. Spot 1, 2, 3, 4 in your cast. You can't play that in your cast. All right. This guy cannot be played on your stage. He can only be played on your cast. All right. So let's try to reorganize this a bit. Carcass can be played on the west or east or the top 3 portions in your staff. So we're just going to play some of these around to kind of give a good example here. Well, these aren't really. Let's actually just start, and we'll use the example of starting. Will be better. So we've got our population. You start with nothing. At the beginning of your turn, you can play as much as you possibly can, right? Because there are 7 stages to a turn. The first is draw up to 7 cards. The second is sway your population. We'll get into sway. Third is recruit your population. Fourth is perform deeds. Fifth is attack and perform the attack. Sixth is discard a card, which is optional. And seventh is flip over and, ready your resources once more. So those are the 7 steps of a turn. So at the beginning of our turn, we'll go first. We're the first player. We're not going to draw. We're going to play a veteran. All right. Now you can only play a veteran in these 2 spots. Pawn of Death, the veteran gives each soldier in the same Mystic Cross +2 to its power. So this whole thing over here is a Mystic Cross. Our cast, our stage, our hub, everything is the Mystic Cross. It is our side is our Mystic Cross. The other player has their Mystic Cross. So we're going to play that in position 1 in our cast. Now, what else can we do? We have the Machine City. We've got Tiffany. We don't have the Rose. And then we have enough for a student. So we can play a veteran in position 1. We can play a student in position 2. We can play the Machine City. So what does this do? Machine City says, I'll read it on the screen here because I can't see it from there. The continuous construction of unknown machinery covers thousands of square miles in the metropolis. It covers 2 stations in your stage and gives you control over 2 of any suit depending on where you place it. North and east gives you a moon. East and south gives you an eye. South and west gives you a rose. West and north give you a skull. Both stations must be vacant. This card may hold 2 pop markers, and we'll get into that as well. So what we really need at the moment is we need a rose, because we don't have that threshold, that element for our main hub. So we're going to play Machine City to I think it's the south and west, right? So it will also, and we'll just do this while we're over here, we'll place that there. South and west will give us this right here. Now, what else can we do? We can now play Tiffany. Tiffany is a lictor, unique spellcaster artist. Gains +3 to her power when in the same Mystic Cross as reader. Repel 1 pop marker at any time to attach an artist in the same Mystic Cross to reader. Each attached artist provides 1 rose, provides you with a dreams while in your stage. So unfortunately, we played the Machine City for these 2. So we have to play her to one of our lower 2 areas here. But that's okay, because part of the reason of this game, part of what you do with this game, is you try to pull these populations in as fast as possible. And we'll get into that in the next turn. I figure the best way to show you guys is to really just do it, right? Out of control, we don't need that. Misled, move 1 pop marker. So now we would hand it over to the opponent, assuming the opponent played something as well. I want to go ahead and discard, I suppose, our out of control prior to the turn. We will draw up to 7 cards. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we've got a Warhound that can go in our last spot here. Before we do that, I guess we got to go in order. So the first step is we can sway population. We have no population to sway. Step 1 is we can recruit population. So anything in your cast can recruit a population. So we are recruiting because they are available here. All right. And your cast can fight, creatures and enemies in your opponent's cast area. The stage cannot engage in battle unless you have a religious path, which is a card in Inferno, and it's a separate whole thing. But first step is you have to recruit the population. We had no one to sway. We moved to the recruit phase. Now we can play our cards. So we're going to play a Warhound over here. We don't really have enough for any of those. And at this point, we would go ahead and discard a card. We'll discard... I don't know. We'll just discard Kane. And then we hand it over to the other player. So now at this point, we can draw a card, and it's our turn again. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, draw up to 7, 6, 7. Now, beginning of the turn, you sway. So what sway means is you're able to flip over a card and exhaust it and move your population over. All right, so we've exhausted those. They've moved the population over. They can't recruit this turn. I can't move this anywhere else. This card says it's able to hold 2 pop. This one can't move because there's nowhere else for it to go. And then at this point, the Warhound, I played the Warhound last turn. I can now recruit this turn after the sway step. You guys can't see it, but she's going on the Warhound, all right? And at this point, I can do a couple things. We can play the Mirror Halls, which gives us now 1 rose. And we can play Videodrome, which is kind of a crazy thing, and it goes well with Netzok. We're not going to get into it. If you guys want to read that later, go ahead and read that later. We can now play Chainsaw if we want to. Influence and attach to a being and a weapon. This being may now attack regions during the attack step. All right, so this is really important because normally you can't attack regions and stop this progression from occurring. But now you can. If I attach this to a particular being, that being can attack my opponent's regions. And once you destroy a region, the pops that are on it go back to the center. That's how you stop this whole conveyor belt game from continuing. So we don't want to play that at the moment. For the time being, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to discard this. It's the end of our turn. We will flip these over. All right, we reset, and then we let the opponent go and start our turn again. So we're going to hit up 7 cards. Now, another thing to note, once you have cards here, you can't remove them. Once you have people here, once you have beings over here, you can't remove those beings unless you physically kill your own being, which you can sacrifice. You can use your attack to attack them, right? But you can only attack once per turn. And at the end of this, we'll go through some of those different. So I can't play any more Mirrored Halls. I can't play any of these unless I killed my own region with that ability. Now, we're going to flip over the Machine City, and we're going to move these pops in. We're going to sway. We're going to sway here and move these pops in. All right. And then now we are going to recruit. So we're going to recruit these 2 pops. We only need 1 more pop to win in our hub. So by next turn, we'll win if they don't stop us. And I'm just showing you guys the mechanics of how this conveyor works to move the populations to the center. You can stop it by chainsaw. You mislead. Tiffany has the ability to move their pops. There's a lot of things and abilities that you can do here that I'm not showing you that allow you to manipulate your opponent's populations on their Mystic Crosses. So at this point, we're going to reach towards the end of turn. We're going to flip our cards back over. We pass the turn. Next turn, we immediately move to sway, and boom, the game's over. We have the pops. So I just wanted to first tell you the mechanics of how this game works. You can't really win before turn 5 because in order for a turn 5 win, you have to perfectly take all the population. You have to have enough in your staff to recruit. You have to have enough regions to move it and to sway it, and you have to assume that your opponent's not able to stop any of that progress. So for a continent-based game, you can't win in any sooner than 5 turns. And I believe in a world game, you can't win any sooner than 7 turns. But they're 2 different lengths of the game. So you can only attack once per turn. So if I say, I'm going to attack with Warhound to one of their cast, I can do that. This fights 6, similar 6 and 6, it would deal damage. If it's the same like this, they both die, and you know your guy's destroyed. But if there was a pop on that other opponent's card, that pop would go back to the center. And that's how you stop some of that progression. You have resourcing in your center. The different regions provide you with resources, and you try and attempt to move and sway the populations towards the center. Again, there's no real video and instruction on how to play this. This is the most you'll find on YouTube. The Videodrome is really interesting. So like with the ability, those who watch the deranged films here are likely to become deranged themselves. The Videodrome will record every combat that takes place in the game, not just those involving your beings. After each combat, you sell the recording and may draw a card from your draw pile. So imagine, Netzok allows me to attack twice in one turn. You start having combos like Veteran, Tiffany, Warhound. See, Warhound, if the Warhound defeats a Veteran in combat, it becomes attached to the Warhound. I can attack my own Veteran, right? And then it becomes attached to the Warhound, and the Warhound has relieved the Veteran of his guilty war memories and gets +2 to its power. So if I want to put a more powerful thing out here, I can eliminate my own Veteran, making my Warhound stronger. At the same time, I draw another card from Netzok. I can play a new card in that section, and I can attack again on Netzok's ability, and again draw a card after the Videodrome. So now imagine if I had another Videodrome in play, and I'm doing this ability where I don't have to play any regions to get thresholds on these abilities, because my Major Arcanum already has all of these thresholds. So I don't need to draw it. I can play it as it is. I can play the Videodrome as it is. So the concept of the deck that I built with Netzok is really a low resource based deck where there's a lot of different flexibility that you can attack your opponent, you can attack yourself, and it provides you with a tremendous amount of draw. And the spiral that you get in this game is you're able to draw 7 cards every turn. You don't just draw 1 at the beginning of your turn. So it makes the most sense to attempt to use as many cards and as many things as possible during your turn to perpetuate that occurrence. So this is essentially the basics of the game. Again, you have commandments, you have spells. Spells must be cast with Spellcaster. Uniques, you can still have more than 1 unique in every deck. I believe you can only have 3 of each card in every deck. You can have more than 1 unique in every deck, but you can only have 1 unique on the field at any time, similar to the Legend rule in MTG. This feels similar to Sorcery in a lot of regards, where you have the different sites, you have different resourcing and things like that, but at the same time there's its own level of uniqueness and mystique to it. I kind of fell in love with this game. I'm not gonna lie. I've reached a point where I wanted to make a really good deck, even though there's no one for me to play. So I've reached this point, and now I want to share it with you all, because I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to do this video. Every time I was like, hey, I'm going to do the video now, something else would pop up and be like, no, I'm going to make it even better. I'm going to make it even better. So some of you may know Neon out on the Discord. Neon actually brought this up to me. And I learned and quickly, and I was like, this is a holy grail dead TCG, not only for collectors, but it's great for playing. The art is amazing, and it does give a lot of flavor, and inspiration to Sorcery. Whether or not Eric admits it, or I firmly believe some of the playing characteristics of this game, as well as some of the art, some of the, it was a big inspiration. So this is my deck. My deck has 61 cards. A couple other interesting things about playing Kult. You're allowed to have 2 major arcanum in your deck. You can choose one to play with. Technically, if you play the same major arcanum as your opponent, the rulebook states you are to exchange decks. Exchange decks is written a bit ambiguous. I don't know if you're supposed to exchange decks with your opponent or exchange decks with yourself and get a different deck out. So I don't know and understand the rule that well, but yeah, the homies just worked too, guys. Gotta say the homies worked. Don't really know. I did get 3 pre-con decks. I destroyed all 3 of them to complete my sets and just to have for singles, because in my mind, I thought I could build a better deck than some of the pre-cons already, because if you kind of understand how the game works, you can see it. I will have a link in the description to the rule book, the 14-page rule book that you can read and peruse at your leisure. It's very confusing. I hope I was able to explain, and you can rewatch this probably a few times before it'll make sense. It took me quite some time to really sit down and learn this. I'm not going to lie. It's one of the more complex games because it's really a conveying game where the winning is done based on the conveying these resources in and prohibiting your opponent from conveying the resources. There was some other similarities to sorcery. This is like a play immediately after the commandment card is played, so it's kind of interesting. Spell, lore of time and space. I'm trying to think. This one. Creature will never attack a being in its own or Kethier's mystic cross. It may attack at any time except during combat. If it attacks out of sequence, you must give the attacked adversary one of your pop markers, who may place it on an available stage member or return it to the population pool. So this is really useful if they don't have the ability to put any pops on their stage. All right. But you want to be able to attack with an 8 at any given time. You can attack with it any time. It doesn't say, on your turn. It just says out of sequence. So you can't do it in the attack phase. You can do it any other time on your turn or any other time, I believe, on your opponent's turn. Again, we would need a codex and some things like this, but I hope to really spark some real interest in this game. I hope a lot of you seek this out and find cards, and look for it on eBay. If there's something you need for a deck or some singles you need, I don't mind selling. Originally, I was going to put it up on my website, Philosopher.cards, and sell singles for Kult on that site. By the time you're watching this video in the future, I may already be doing that. So check it out, Philosopher.cards. But for the time being, I don't know that that's the right call. I kind of feel like, like I said, I kind of like it. Where I'm like, it's a really, really good game. And I hope you guys feel the same way after watching. Again, check out the art, wild-art.com, Worlds of Wonder art. I'll have a link to the site there in the description of the video. If you've ever wanted to own some art from an original TCG at a reasonable price, and guys, it's Terry Oaks too. I mean, it's a great price. By the time you watch this video, this whole it might be blown out. There's a high chance that I might even let my patrons know about the site ahead of time, just because you guys are my patrons and I appreciate your support. It may be blown out even before the video launches. It very well could be. I bought 2 pieces myself. Like I said, I was tempted to buy more, but I hope you guys are able to find something you like and pick it up and hang it on your walls and enjoy the little bit of TCG history. So thanks again. I don't normally say the video, but if this helped you out, if you thought it was interesting, like it, because I'd love to get the word out on Kult. It really is a cult of, to be in it, because I didn't even know it existed a year ago. And now, like I said, it's a great game. I'd love to see someone create some sort of a tool to make new cards and make fan expansions to this game, because I think it's really interesting, and I think there's a lot of potential with it. So, and I'm sure a lot of the folks in modern card games like Sorcery felt the same way and took inspiration from this game. So, thank you all. Thanks to Wow Art again. Thanks to Neon for bringing this up. And like I said, thanks to everybody I've acquired all of these things from through the years. Now, do we bearish up? Do I bearish some stuff up? Let's do it. Let's bearish up real quick before the end of this video. And I will stamp it on with a Philosopher Cards stamp. And I'm just going to do some Inferno, right? Because, I mean, the other packs are expensive, but they're not Inferno expensive. All right, so let's do it. In the meantime, see if I can figure out anything else that I left out. You guys are still watching. Whoever's still watching, more kudos to you. You must like what I'm showing you here with Kult. Yeah, let's do a couple so that way if you guys want to pick some up, you'll be able to reference this video in the future, and a little bit of a souvenir. And there's only gonna be 5. So again, I don't know pricing, what you know, what to do with it, but me, I like I said, originally I was gonna sell it. This one's not going in right. Let's see. There we go. Originally I was gonna sell it, but I don't know, at the moment it just feels like, yeah, they're like really close to the edges here, guys. There we go. Perfect. So now let's get these sealed up. If you guys want one, like I said, this is a little bit of history because there's no video on YouTube or anything close to what we reviewed here today. 771646. So this is really a piece of TCG history. I mean, not gonna lie, folks, these packs are probably gonna be half the price of a painting. Right? So like these aren't going to be cheap. If you want to order a painting and you're like, hey, a painting looks awesome, let's order a pack. You know, keep in mind this isn't you know, this isn't going to be a $50 pack. This is probably going to be a $150 pack. And honestly, you know, some of you who may know something about Kult out there, you're like, oh my god, he's only selling that for 150. I know. There's just none out there. I'm just, you know, I probably want to keep a couple too, to be honest. They're all pushed down. Go. Yeah, the major arcanum in Inferno are considered ultra rare. There are no ultra rares in base set. All right, no ultra rares in base set. So we've got, here we go, 771647. Again, something we'll do to the tune. Again, a little bit of a collector's item because this is going to be the only time I offer Kult on my Discord or on my YouTube. Like we do with the old vintage MTG openings. This, you know, if you collect those packs from me in the bearish cases, you know, you can do one with these. I don't have a issue with doing one with the base set either. If you guys are like, hey, I really want one from base set, that'll be a lot cheaper. Base set will be cheaper. We'll do something like 40 or something like that. So, that I can do, and it would come shipped at that price with the bearish case, with everything. We'll do it on another live where, you know, we can bearish them up. There we go. 776-771-648. We've got 2 more, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to all the comments in the video. Just, you know, saying like, hey, you know, this is pretty amazing. I'm going to go through, add those cards we pulled out of those packs to my collection. And again, if you happen to have any Kult out there and you want to sell me your Kult, I would love it. Reach out to me. You know, and if you guys out there as well are like, hey, Steve, you know, can you sell us Kult? We love it. We want to get into this. Can you sell this to us? I'll see if we can find more stable pipelines of getting cards in. I again, there's a lot overseas of English packs of Kult, but guys, I haven't seen these Inferno packs listed in over a decade, right? And I know like Neon watches it as well, 771649. Neon watches it as well, and yeah. Speaking of Neon, this one is for Neon on the house, right here. Neon doesn't have a box with it. That's okay. There we go. Neon, this is for you on the house. Thanks for keeping an eye out for me. Thanks for, you know, going through and suggesting that I look into this. So this one's for you. I will also have a, I'll also have a English pack for you as well. So thank you again. There we go. Neon 771650. This one is for you. Neon's really helped me on my journey, sending me updates on like, hey, more, you know, this came in or that came in. There was one auction. I was so mad. I missed it. It was a very, very large auction for English base set. It was, oddly enough, Flipside Games, guys. If you know Flipside Games, it was like one of these major like faux distributors had a bunch like listed, and I'm just like, that's weird. That's not normal. And it looks scammy, to be honest, because somebody else like copied a picture of it, and like I just felt weird because these are really expensive. Like it's not like it's a little bit. It felt kind of scammy, and I sat on it and missed it. But there were some starter deck bricks I wish I would have gotten. Oh, forgot to put the thing on. There were some starter deck bricks I missed out on that I wish I would have had. So I mean, that was probably the biggest miss I've had in the past 6 months on this. But again, this is not cheap. I mean, what you're looking at, the acquisition from me here is massive. I don't even know if there's boxes. Like, I'm keeping this because I'm not even sure there's many of these like ripped boxes like this even in existence. There might be more Magic Alpha in existence than there is this. So, oh, we had just a loose Inferno pack there. Okay. So how many do we have left? I'll give you guys an idea. We cracked one. We got 6 over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we've got 12 packs. Stay tuned. I have more card games coming and doing reviews and things like this. Kult is up there in terms of one of my favorite now of all time. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like the deck. If you ever see me at an event and you're like, hey, I got some Kult, let's play. I'll bring my deck. I'd love to. So keep me posted, guys. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being patrons out there, guys, and supporting me. Thanks to Neon, and thanks to WoW Art. Talk to you all later.